Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Sniper Elite 5 in depth. In this episode, we'll be checking out the Thompson, and I'll give you two custom setups to use for it. But before we begin, make sure you've joined my Discord server, the link is in the description. So without further ado, let's get into this.
It's time to move.
In order to break the stalemate of First World War trench warfare, Brigadier General John Thompson envisioned a light automatic rifle which would replace the M1A1 Springfield, which was too long and too slow to be of use in the trenches. Using the Blishlock, a unique reloading mechanism, and the 45 ACP cartridge, the only cartridge in service at the time which was deemed usable, Thompson christened his new weapon the Annihilator, and it formed the first wave of submachine guns along with the MP-18 and the OVP. The first shipments were scheduled to be sent to Europe for the 13th of November 1918, but by then the war was over. With money running out, Thompson set to work marketing his weapon, now called the Thompson submachine gun, to the civilian market, where it found widespread success as it was used both by criminals and by the police trying to stop them. In 1928, the American military adopted the Thompson, as did several other armies, including the British. The M1928 Thompson used several different magazines, including box mags of 20 and 30 rounds, drum mags of 50 and 100 rounds, and a special 40-round magazine created by welding two 20-rounders together in a jungle configuration. The M1 Thompson came in 1942 as a simplification of the M1928 model, and with a few minor alterations, the M1 became the M1A1 seen in game. The M1A1 was eventually succeeded in American service by the M3 grease gun, which cost a third as much and was much quicker to produce. The Thompson has been used in dozens of wars, including the Second World War, Chinese Civil War, and the Bay of Pigs invasion. In-game, the Thompson is a weapon with heavy advantages but an equally heavy set of disadvantages. It has the highest damage in its class alongside the MP44, and has a very good fire rate. These statistics combine to give it a very high damage per second. Its reload speed, recoil control and equip time are all acceptable, but the Thompson suffers in most other statistics with woeful effective range and muzzle velocity, terrible aim stability and audible range, and generally poor handling times. The single biggest disadvantage, however, is the puny 20-round magazines, which just don't provide enough rounds to go with the higher than average rate of fire. This makes the Thompson an incredibly strange weapon. If you look solely at statistics and regard each statistic equally, then the Thompson is a very bad weapon. It only excels in two categories, and every other statistic is either middling or downright bad. But where the Thompson does excel is in two of the most important statistics in the game, damage and fire rate, which makes the Thompson very deadly in close quarters engagements. The Thompson also has a great range of attachments, which allows you to customize it into anything you'd like, with a wide variety of magazines, stocks, and muzzle options, affording players the luxury of being able to customize their gun in any way they like, which allows you to iron out a lot of the poor statistics of the default configuration. The magazines are of particular note, as we get the must-have 30-round magazines, which are brilliant because they bring increased capacity without making the gun less accurate, which is usually the trade-off. The 100-round drum magazines are also of note, as they allow the Thompson to become the highest capacity weapon in the game, which is incredibly useful. Having an extra 29 rounds over a PPSH is quite incredible, and that's where the real strength of the Thompson lies. It's capable of being manipulated into basically anything through the use of attachments. Now I want to talk about two setups I've used with the Thompson, the first of which being a rapid fire build with great handling. I use the high rate heatsink for the increased fire rate, the McLean control brake for better accuracy, and then the 100 round drum for massive capacity, coupled with the stock removal to facilitate good handling times. As for grips, I either suggest taking the Tactical Owen and Aim Tape X3 if you like to shoulder aim, or the Tommy Grip and Aim Tape X6 if you like to aim down sights. Lastly, I take the Lightened Bolt to further increase fire rate. This setup is incredibly powerful at close range. The spread accuracy isn't that bad, but because of the absolutely monstrous fire rate, it rapidly becomes unwieldy, so it's best to fire in short controlled bursts if you happen to be further than 4 feet away from your target. But if you are properly up close, and I'm talking shotgun range and less, you can really do some damage with the 900 odd RPM fire rate and the 45 damage per shot, which is more than enough to do some serious damage. Despite having the 100 round drum, the reload speed is also super snappy thanks to the removal of the stock, and overall this one just works incredibly well up close against all targets because you can rest assured you're going to have enough rounds to take them out. The next setup I will be covering is a setup made by Arthur Silver, who helped me out with this video because for the life of me I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the second setup. It's a powerful, slow firing stealth setup and I think you'll really like it. I take the overpressure barrel for the increased damage at the cost of accuracy, the M1 SOE suppressor to both quieten the weapon and increase the muzzle velocity, the 30 round magazine because there's no reason not to have it over the 20 rounder, because the only penalty is a handful of milliseconds on the time to aim, the lightweight X2 stock because it's an incredibly powerful attachment in terms of accuracy, the classic Tommy foregrip for great accuracy when aiming down sights, the Aim Tape X6 in order to reduce sway, and then the reinforced overpressure rounds in order to increase damage further. This setup is an excellent one, and it's a great demonstration of how far removed you can make a Thompson through its array of attachments. It's one to be using in iron sights, and only in iron sights, because the 96cm spread accuracy is appalling, but if you use it in iron sights, you should get good results, as I've easily been able to pick off targets at over 100 meters with decent ease. Not as easily as I could with an STG, but it's not far off. It's not super stealthy, like pretty much any SMG bar the EMP, so if you're going for a stealth playthrough then take a P38 or a Delisle as well because they'll be doing the heavy lifting. But the function of the SOE suppressor is to A. look cool, B. increase the muzzle velocity, and then C. include fewer people in any given firefight because your audible range is quiet enough that you won't attract half the map like a McLean control break enjoyer would. It's an excellent setup, it's incredibly versatile, and it's well worth giving a go because it's something that the Thompson isn't, and that's why it's so good. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Remember to like, subscribe and comment. It costs you nothing and it's a great way to help out the channel. Stay safe and goodbye.